Or you can just circle carried or
Yeah, okay. Well, you know, we're adaptable. Slightly.
You won't believe this letter. But it'll spice up the meeting.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
Can't tell if it's in favor of those.
Humorous is this.
Huh?
Humorous.
Yeah, that'd be our dilemma, right? Well. Did you read this? Jack? Pretty close.
Pretty close. Ready?
Yep.
I'll call this meeting with Share County Board of Adjustments to order. This meeting will begin with a public hearing. Anyone other than the applicant or their representative wishing to speak must register and submit the registration slip to myself or the secretary. Following the public hearing, the board will conduct its monthly meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave. The applicant and the town board will be contacted about tonight's decision. Any other person wishing to receive a copy of any decision can sign the sheet at the front of the room. Those wishing immediate knowledge of the outcome of these proceedings may call the county zoning office tomorrow morning. The procedure we will follow for hearing each application is, after the application is read, the applicant, their agent, or representative will have a maximum of 10 minutes to present their application, followed by any questions or comments from the board. Then all correspondence will be read. Then others in favor will have a maximum of 5 minutes to speak. Anyone objecting will then have a maximum of 5 minutes to speak. I will then ask for staff comments. Finally, the applicant will be allowed a maximum of 5 minutes for a rebuttal if they wish. Anyone wishing to speak should use the microphone at the front of the room, state their name, and direct their comments to the board. If you are testifying as a nearby landowner, please tell us where your property is located. Tonight's hearing will be videotaped, and the tapes will become part of the record. Comments that are based on rumors, hearsay, or secondhand information, as well as racial or other prejudicial remarks, will be ruled out of order. The board has looked at all the properties, and the record will reflect these observations. Any person affected by an administrative decision of this board has 30 days from the filing of tonight's decision to make an appeal. Such appeals shall be heard by the Waushara County Circuit Court. Information is available from the county zoning office. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as to any of the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of this 30-day period. Now I'll introduce the rest of the board. To my left are Fred Gellerup, Larry Tim, George Wilson, Jim Warwick. My name is Roger Wagner. Mark Schumacher seated to my right. First variance to be considered tonight, Boyda Family Revocable Trust, Austin, Texas, amend an application for variance in accordance with section 58-826, paragraph B of the Waushara County Zoning Code to construct a 20 by 22 one-story detached garage, existing detached garage to be raised coming to within 11 feet of the right-of-way of Chicago Point Road. 30-foot setback required in the RS-20 single-family residential zone within the shoreline area. Location, a parcel of land known as Lot 36 of Lakeview Point subdivision, being part of the northeast one quarter, the northwest one quarter, Section 6, Town of Marion, Silver Lake N 2086, Chicago Point Road. Is the applicant present? Would you come forward, please?
Good evening.
Good evening. Would you state your name for the record, please?
I am Virginia Boyda.
Okay. Anything further to add at this time, Virginia?
Perhaps some clarifications. You should know that love is not spelled L-O-V-E, it's spelled G-A-R-A-G-E. This is for my husband, my wonderful husband of 38 years. He's not pleased with the number of vermin that live in our current garage, but I kind of like it since my father started the family business there in 1950. A clarification on the proposal might be, I talked about frost walls, and the builder has suggested that I also consider a slab construction, and I didn't know if that was something that you needed to be advised of.
Okay. Anything else?
There was a slight misstatement, perhaps. I'm not sure what I had eaten. When I talked about the driveway I mentioned would either be asphalt or probably crushed granite. And then I said the off-street parking might also have crushed granite on there. I probably would not do that, but there would be a hard surface driveway, not concrete, though.
Okay.
I tried to do what I thought was a modest proposal in keeping with the area, you know, with the style of architecture and all that had previously been constructed around the lake, and I think we can manage the garage so that it's both, you know, safe and aesthetically pleasing. And that's all I had to say.
Okay.
Were there questions?
Just a few general questions for the record then. You had a survey done out there in 2007, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and you're sure of the road right away?
To my knowledge, there has never been a right-of-way granted. In fact, I was hoping the county would move the road over. To whom do I speak about that, or is that another hearing?
Part of your survey shows that the physical road actually encroaches on yours by a couple of feet, right?
That's correct, and to my knowledge, there was never a right-of-way granted for that. It was just probably a happy paver.
Yeah, and we've had a number of other surveys on Chicago Point Road, and that seems to be a common characteristic. The road doesn't necessarily follow the right-of-way, so.
Have you talked to the township about this, or?
I have not. That was next on my list of many things to do.
But as far as your variance is concerned, you haven't heard any word from the township. They don't have any.
No.
They haven't come out with any position, or you haven't talked to them about the variance, right?
The last time when building the home, I called Mr. Waleko 2 times, and he said, you know, I get the notices. You do not need to call me, so
Okay.
I did not call him this time.
Okay.
Okay. Will you be doing any amount of filling or grading for this?
No, part of the reason for this type of a proposal was, you know, to just kind of slide it back. I mean, it has to, I'm going to have to dig out the 7 feet behind the garage to move it back. I don't anticipate any fill unless building on slab, if that were to be an occurrence, you have to put down some gravel, I would assume, to build on a slab. And and I'm trying to leave the hill between my property and the Lutz property, which is to the north, undisturbed.
Your site plan shows a finished height of about 17 feet. Would that be correct?
It would be a maximum of that. I would like to be able to match the pitch of the roof to the pitch of the gable behind on the house, but it would be no higher than that if it can't.
The existing garage is going to be removed, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
and all the mice with it.
And the new garage will be 7 foot farther back than the current?
7 foot farther, closer to the house, yes.
Any other improvements planned at this time?
On the garage or in general to the
General.
property? No, that's enough.
Okay, and all other setbacks will be met then?
Yes, I would, certainly on the sides, they would be met.
And your narrative says the proposed location will not interfere with the sewer lateral, is that correct?
I believe that's correct.
Any other committee questions?
When we were out there, we noticed that you had the garage, the proposed garage staked out. And it seems to be a little bit different than your site plan in that the garage isn't parallel with the lot line. It's parallel with the road. So it's actually at an angle to the lot line, but it's square with the road, okay? You still will maintain that minimum setback from the side lot line, but the one corner of the garage appeared to be a lot closer than the other one to the side lot line, okay? And I'm not sure if you did this drawing or your builder did, but that was one note that we noticed when we were out there, okay?
The construction as proposed,
Well, the construction as you had it laid out showed the garage to be square with the road, not the lot line, okay?
it is not square to the lot line.
Right.
I think
That's the existing garage, though.
What I'm looking at is...
I see what you mean, and it looks like
Yeah, when
I have made an error there in how I
but the distance from the road is correct, and
Right.
that's what your variance is about
the
tonight.
distance from the road is about the variance, and
Right.
as I understand, the side lot clearance is 7 feet for a
Right.
detached garage, and I
That's correct.
believe that
Yep.
meets this.
Yeah, it's just a point to note. It's not that there's an error with the application, but it is something that we noticed when we visited the property, so.
Very astute.
Anything else?
And you said you'd be building this, if it's approved, you'd be building it this year then?
Yes, the builder has time to do it and would hopefully do it this summer in
Great.
time to, park the boats in there for the winter.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Any correspondence?
We have one letter from Bill McNellis that was received 6/16, and it states regarding hearing June 17th, 2010 variance, Boyd family residence garage. When the DNR and zoning closed their eyes to the filling of the pond next to State Road 73 and allowed the building of a garage with living quarters on Chicago Point Road, you created the worst disaster in the history of Silver Lake, zoning, etc., killed the trail of wildlife that had tracked from one pond to another, then to the lake, and allowed a dwelling substandard to the rest of the area. So many animals dead from traffic, or in the case of turtles, picked up and taken for soup or sport. You set the standard, and any garage project can't be as bad as the one you quietly allowed. Somewhere the idea changed from making things better to just controlling and to even punish the residents of Silver Lake. We are forced to belong to a gang of property owners that pollute the lake with jet skis, two-stroke engines, and pesticides used in for killing plants, fish, and anything that drinks from the treated waters. It is time to stop your discrimination practices and get out of the way so people can make this lake a better and healthier place to live. People on 73 and all around the lake are forced to live with bats and Asian beetles and pay extreme taxes and can't replace their homes. Please be reminded that this is the United States of America, and Wisconsin has been a state since 1848, and this being the 30th state has the same rights as the other 49. Approved project, William McNellis, Silverview. And that's all the correspondence we
Would you
have.
spell McNellis's name?
MC, capital N-E-L-L-I-S.
Okay, no one registered in favor or objecting. Staff comments?
For the record, the board has previously been furnished with a copy of the site plan and all the other pertinent data for this and all the other applications that will be considered tonight. Regarding the variance tonight, the applicant, not the board, has to prove tonight that the zoning code is unnecessarily burdensome, there's unique physical features or property limitations, and that an approval will not harm the public or the neighbors. The allowed average for a detached garage on the property, for the record, is 35 feet from the center of the road. The proposed garage here will be 23. There was a previous variance approved in August of last year to build a new home on this property. The board's certainly aware of that. When the board visited the property, they noted the drawings are not correct. The proposed garage is parallel with the road, not the side lot line. This will be a single-story garage. There would appear to be room to park a vehicle between the proposed garage and the blacktop. The proposed garage is 7 feet, as was said earlier, further back than the existing from the road. The board noted this would make a bad situation better, and as far as unique property limitations, they did note the steep slopes to the north. And other than apologizing for the Asian beetles and bats, I didn't realize zoning had anything to do with that. I don't have anything further to add.
Okay, thank you.
Muskrats.
That closes the public hearing for the Board of Adjustments. We will adjourn to the room directly behind us. The Boydas are welcome to come in there, and we will vote on the application as presented tonight. Planning and Zoning will meet here for their public hearing.
I left a big question mark there. I didn't know whether it was for or against.
That's the way God makes question marks.
I will call this meeting of the Waushara County Planning and Zoning Committee to order. This meeting will be conducted in the same manner as the applications heard by the Board of Adjustments. Anyone other than the applicant or the representative wishing to speak at this hearing must have registered. Anyone who has not should do so immediately and submit the registration slip to myself or the secretary. The committee has looked at all of the properties and the recording will reflect their observations. Following the public hearing, the committee will conduct a meeting at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave. Any person affected by an administrative decision of this committee has 10 days from the filing of tonight's decision to file an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Waushara County Board of Adjustments. Information and applications are available from the county zoning office. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty to the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of the 10-day period. I will now introduce the committee. To my far left, Joe Piaski, Larry Crawford, Mike Likeness, Robert Wadle, Mark Schumacher, zoning administrator, Mark Kirschner. First application that we will hear tonight, Terrence and Ann Lemke, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, have made application for a conditional use in accordance with sections 58-236, paragraph 18, and 58-454, paragraph 31 of the Waushara County Zoning Code to store a 2008 28-foot Wildwood travel trailer in an AG, General Agricultural 5-acre minimum zone. Location, an approximately 21.1 acre parcel of land known as Lot 2 of Certified Survey Map 5204, being part of the southeast quarter, Section 19, and part of the northeast quarter, Section 30, Town 20 North, Range 10 East, Town of Rose, County Road A. Is the applicant present? Yes. Would you come forward, please? Would you state your name and everything for the record?
My name is Terrence Lemke.
Is there anything you can add to this or anything you can tell us, Terry?
Other than what was on the application and my understanding that you visited the site, I hope that explains all, and I'd be willing to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Okay, sounds good. Committee questions?
Yep. Mr. Lemke, is the trailer licensed and roadworthy?
Yes, it is.
According to your site plan, the trailer is more than 100 feet to any lot line, is that correct?
That's correct. It's probably about over 200 feet
And you had a survey done in 2004,
when we purchased the property, correct?
and you've got 21 acres there, is that correct?
Correct.
There is a septic and a well installed, but the unit is not connected to the water or the septic, is that correct?
That's also correct.
All right. Was that an outhouse to the west of the driveway near the trailer?
Is it a pit toilet outhouse? The answer is no. In the wintertime, when we use it for deer hunting at that area, and of course the facilities inside the trailer would never work. That a bucket, without any more description, you understand.
Quite well. Are there any other buildings planned on the?
Nothing planned, but certainly hope to at some point.
You put the fence up to help screen the trailer from the public road, is that right?
In part, we also just wanted a little extra privacy. We had planted a number of pines out front, but they're very small at this point.
You plan any changes to the driveway?
No, not that other than what you saw.
You don't have a uniform property address number right now, correct?
That is also correct.
That's all.
Now, in your application, you said that you use a transfer unit. I mean, you use the septic system. You use a transfer unit to take it from the trailer over to the septic. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So you don't take any waste and dump it on the ground or in the woods. I mean, the waste and the wastewater there goes into that septic system. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Any other committee questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Correspondence?
We have no correspondence on the application.
Anyone in favor or to object?
No one registered in favor or in opposition.
Staff comments?
For the record, the committee's been furnished with a copy of the site plan and the other pertinent data for this and the other applications that will be considered tonight. Travel trailer requirements, the committee certainly knows, but for the applicants' benefit, and they probably know this too, as was stated, they have to be a minimum of 100 feet from the lot line. They can't be on a permanent foundation or have any additions or attachments. They have to stay licensed and roadworthy. If they're approved by a conditional use tonight, we do an annual inspection of the units to make sure that all those conditions are being followed. There was some concern about the visibility of the trailer from the public road, but it was relocated and it's not visible anymore. So I think that's been taken care of. So let's see. And as was stated, there's a well and septic on the property, and a uniform property address would be needed. So I have nothing further to add.
Okay, is there anything that you'd like to add, Terry? Okay. Next application for conditional use. Becky Wagner, Watoma, Wisconsin, has made an application for a conditional use in accordance with sections 58-454, paragraph 36 of the Washera County zoning code to place a used 27 by 44-foot, one-story, single-family dwelling on a slab in an AG-10 general agricultural 10-acre minimum zone. Location, an approximate 26.130 acre parcel of land being part of the south half of the southwest quarter, lying west of 17th Drive, Section 11, Town 19 North, Range 10 East, Town of Watoma, 17th Drive. Would the applicant come forward, please? State your name for the record, please.
Becky Wagner.
Is there anything you can add or anything you can tell us, Becky?
I don't really have any new information since I made the application, but when I did apply, it was suggested that I go to the town board meeting, and I did go to that earlier this month, and there was no objections. As far as I know, they were going to send a letter stating that I did go to the meeting and that they
And this is the home that from out by,
Ron and Kathy Anderson.
okay. Committee questions?
Are there any additions or alterations planned to the home?
There was 2 decks that were located on the property. I did remove those from the residence and would probably put 1 deck on the back side of the house.
Are there any other buildings planned?
Not at this time.
This will be on the concrete slab.
Correct.
The site plan shows the maximum height will be about 15 feet.
That's correct also.
This home is in the town of Richfield now.
Right.
Do the pictures of the home accurately represent its present condition?
Yes, I took those about a week before I made the application.
You need a uniform property address, correct?
Yes.
You have a sanitary permit for a new septic system, correct?
That's correct.
Has there been any recent surveys?
The property was surveyed when I purchased it in, I believe, 2004.
Your site plan also shows the nearest lot line is about 78 feet.
Correct.
If an approval is given, when would the home be placed?
As soon as possible.
Are there any other committee questions? Mark?
Becky, how old is the home now?
It's 2002.
Okay, because it looks in, really, really good shape.
They never lived in it as a
Yeah.
full-time resident, so they actually used it as a vacation home, so it is in excellent condition.
Well, you'd be well protected out there, because we weren't there 30 seconds and the sheriff pulled us over.
Yeah. He does that to me, too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Any
I
other
don't have
questions?
anything else.
Mark?
No.
Okay, thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
Correspondence?
We do have a letter from the town of Watoma, was received June 3rd, and it states, request by Becky Wagner. At the June 1st Town Board meeting, the town of Watoma heard a request by Becky Wagner to place a used modular home on her land on 17th Drive. She did provide pictures of the home, and I believe the home is 8 years old. It is our understanding that she will be asking your office for a conditional use. With the information provided, the town of Watoma is not opposed to this request. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you, Jeffrey L. Nett, Chairman, Town of Watoma. And that's all the correspondence we have.
Anyone in favor or opposition?
Nope.
Staff comments?
When the committee visited the property, the proposed location and driveway were flagged. There is good visibility at the proposed driveway location. The home does appear to be in good condition, and we do have a sanitary permit issued for the septic system. So I think everything else has been considered. Just to explain a little bit, we've required conditional uses for used mobile homes for 40 years, but we've had some real problems with conventional used homes being moved in that have not been in good repair, to the point where it was really necessary to take a little closer look at any used home. So several years ago, we changed our regulations and require a conditional use for any home that's used to be placed in the county, whether it's a mobile home, single wide, double wide, modular, whatever. And obviously that's helped, you know, some of the problems we've had, especially aesthetically, but obviously this is a very, you know, nice home, and I certainly have no problems with it.
I've seen the home, so I mean, I know. That's all.
Okay.
Okay, is there anything you'd like to add, Becky, or anything like that? Okay, thank you. Okay, the next two applications are zone changes. The first one is Rosebow Trust, Wild Rose, Wisconsin, have made application for a zone change in accordance with sections 58-131 through 138 and 58-541 of the Waushara County Zoning Code from a CS commercial service to an RS20 single-family residential 20,000 square foot minimum size lot to more accurately reflect the current land use in the shoreland area. Location, an approximately 0.60 acre parcel of land known as Lot 1 of Certified Survey Map number 758, being part of Government Lot 6 and part of the southeast quarter of the southwest quarter, Section 2, Town 20 North, Range 11 East, Town of Springwater, fire number W5554, County Road K. Is the applicant present? Would the applicant please come forward? You state your name for the record,
My
please?
name is Sharon Rossebo,
And we promise we won't ask you a real lot of questions.
Would you spell that, please?
Rossebo.
Is there anything that you would like to add? ma'am?
Well, we're not selling anything from our lot there or putting in a bar or anything, so we really don't need commercial zoning anymore. And since the structure is non-conforming and we'd like to put an addition on, we think it should be zoned residential to reflect its use.
Any questions?
Yes, we got a couple of questions, but basically the zone change would take care of putting it back to what it's originally, what it's used for now, the property's being used for.
It's been used as residential since we purchased it in 1978.
You're planning on any addition to the building?
We're planning on an addition, yes.
You know why it was zoned commercially?
Well,
originally?
when we bought it, it was a small resort, and that area there, including a couple other adjoining lots, are still commercial. The one immediately adjoining ours has been rezoned to residential.
All the questions.
That's it?
Yep.
When are you excuse me, when are you planning on doing the addition to the home?
As soon as we get approval.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Any other committee questions, Mark or Larry? Okay, thank you very
All right,
much.
Thank you.
Correspondence?
We have 2 letters in support from adjoining property owners, and then we also have a letter from the township in favor, and I'll read those into the record. The first one in favor is from the town of Springwater, Kathleen Mosier, clerk, town of Springwater. The town of Springwater wishes Waushara County zoning to know they have no objection to the application of the Rosebow Trust for a zone change on their property from commercial to residential use in Section 2, Pine Lake, W5554, County Road K. And again, that's from Kathleen Mosier, Springwater Town Clerk. We also have 2 letters in favor from adjoining property owners. The first one is from Donna, is it Ron, R-A-H-N? Okay. It says, we own the lot 2 of Certified Survey Map 758, adjoining the Rosebow property, and have no objections to rezoning the Rosebow property from CS to RS20 or to the proposed addition to their home. And also from Robert and Margaret Rosterman, R, I believe, O-S-T-E-R-M-U-N-D. And they say, we are the owners to the property adjoining the Rosebow home. This is to inform you that We have no objection whatever to changing their zoning to residential and/or their proposed addition to their home. And that's all the correspondence we have. Robert and Margaret. Thanks. Yep.
Okay. Anyone in favor or opposition?
No one registered.
Staff comments.
This is not the first request we've had like this. Sometimes the township would request the zone change. Sometimes the county will do it. The problem with that is collectively, when you're dealing with multiple landowners, it's often very difficult to get them together and explain things to them. And sometimes, like the last one when I was out in the field, it took over 3 years before we could get the 3 property owners to agree. And so even though it might be more effective to do it collectively, it's also more time consuming and difficult. So when a landowner like the Rosabos have a plan to add on to their house, it's a little bit faster to just have them apply themselves. But this is not uncommon. The zoning maps were created in the late 1960s, and a lot of these properties, particularly on the lake, had rental cottages in certain areas, and those were zoned commercial service, and this was another example of that. The other thing I want to talk about really, really briefly is that this and the next application are zone changes. Zone changes are different than conditional uses and variances, although the public hearing is the same. The procedure that we have to follow is a little bit different, a little bit longer. And the way that works is if the applications would be approved tonight, they then go to the county board meeting at their July county board meeting, the second Tuesday of July. And then if they get approved, they then go to the town board. And then when the town board approves them, then the zone change is complete. Now, in this case, and the next one, if time is of a concern, the landowner can expedite that process a little bit by not waiting for the county board meeting, but asking the town board to take formal action on their application ahead of time, and then that way when the county board approves it in July, their application is actually done, and it's just going to save a month or so of time. So there is a wait. Otherwise, you'd be going to county board in July and then the town board in August. So you can save a little time that way if you want to expedite the situation. One of the neighbors did do a rezoning, as Mrs. Rosabo mentioned, similar to this in 2007. When the committee was out on the property, they noted that most of the other lots in the area are zoned residential. There's good visibility to driveway location, the speed limit, I think it's 35 miles an hour out there, yep. All the other surrounding properties out there are in residential use. The other thing that we did do is Rick from our office was out on the property on the 10th of June, and he did double check all the measurements, and the home does meet the average setback from the water and everything, so they're not non-conforming there. So everything looks good to go, and obviously it's just changing the zoning to reflect the existing use. So that's all I had.
Okay. Anything else? Is there anything you'd like to add, ma'am? Okay, thank you. Okay, next application. Klemp Industrial LLC, Nashcoro, Wisconsin, has made application for a zone change in accordance with sections 58-131 through 138 and 58-664 of the Waushara County Zoning Code from an AG General Agricultural to a CG General Commercial to conditionally establish a welding and metal fabrication operation utilizing an existing 60 by 140 foot building. Location: an approximately 3.11 acre parcel of land known as Lot 1 of Certified Survey Map number 5901, being part of the northeast quarter of the southeast quarter and part of the northwest quarter of the southwest quarter, Section 14, Town 18 North, Range 11 East, Town of Marion, Fire Number W5711 County Road F. The applicant present?
For the record, Mr. Chairman, we tell all the applicants in writing that it is essential they be at the public hearing. Unfortunately, sometimes they don't read it or listen, but we do make a point to emphasize that part of the process is they do need to appear at the public hearing. When they don't, then the recommendation would be that if you don't have any questions that can't be answered, you could certainly act on the application. But if there are some things that you don't understand or questions that cannot be answered tonight because the applicant is not present, then it would be appropriate to table the application to a subsequent public hearing, not a business meeting, because you'd still be exchanging information and that would have to be disclosed at a public hearing. So the options would be you could continue to act on the application if you don't have any questions, or if you do, it could be tabled. That would be not decided during the public hearing, it would be decided during the business meeting. So what I would suggest, since the applicant is not here and you can't ask him any questions, that we proceed on with the other people registered in favor and opposition, correspondence, staff comments, and then we can go into the business meeting.
Okay.
So with that, there's no one registered in favor or in opposition, and staff or correspondence. There is a petition that the applicant, Klemp Industrial LLC, circulated. The petition says, I've been informed by Gregory Klemp Sr., the owner of the former Marx Brothers Pickle Company property, that he intends to apply for rezone of a portion of the property, including most of the frontage adjacent to W5711 County Road F, as well as several buildings thereon, to that of general commercial zone. In addition, it's my understanding that this portion of the property is presently under lease to Specialty Enterprises LLC, which operates a welding and fabrication shop employing approximately a dozen employees. By signing below, I have indicated that I do not have issue with the proposed rezoning and encourage the Waushara County Planning and Zoning Committee and the Board of Adjustments to grant this request. And the 10 signatures we have are, you don't have to write these down. These: Bill Schmelzler, Tom Parsons, Rick Collada, Robert Marks, Russell Marks, Laura Marks, Gordon Marks, Claire Johnson, Gilbert Sable Sr., and Mike Egan. And we also have a letter from the town chair in support of the application from Gary Waleko, Chairman, Town of Marion, dated May 13th. It states, I have spoken to Greg Klemp Sr. I'm aware of his request for a zoning change to general commercial for the property located W5711 County Road F, and have received a copy of the site plan. The rezoning request and the site plan in no way contravenes or violates any land use plans or ordinances currently in effect, and as a result, we see no problem in granting his request. Should you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Very truly yours, Gary Waleko, Chairman, Town of Marion. And that's all the correspondence we have on the application.
Okay. Staff comments?
I explained how the rezoning process works. There was a business here before. This business, albeit it was an agricultural business, and this would appear to be a good use of the property. Other than that, I don't have anything further to add to the application.
Okay. That concludes our applications for tonight. We will continue on with our business meeting.